What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to a brand new Fantasy Premier League video. And in this video I'll be talking about my first fantasy football draft for the upcoming season. Now, I didn't put much thought into this video as there are still 23 days, there's still over 3 weeks to go until the deadline, but I have put the picks in that I fancy so far to make up my 15 players and most importantly my starting 11. So we'll just have a quick look at my goalkeeper, and up first I've picked Sanchez for Brighton, who has seemed to be a very popular pick this season. He's selected by 26.5% of teams and he only costs 4.5 million. He is also a nailed on starter, and Brighton's fixtures are not too bad to start off with. Up first they have Burnley, Watford in their first 2 game weeks, and of course Brighton are very well defensively organised. They don't concede many goals and they are hard to break down, and with a goalkeeper of Sanchez's ability in goals, they won't concede many goals this season. Now we'll move on to my back three, and as you can see I've gone with a very attacking defence. Digne, Shaw and Arnold, they almost play as left and right midfielders, they're so attacking. Of course Arnold, Shaw and Digne are all on set pieces, they will be taking corners and some free kicks. So they are basically midfielders in my defence, which is very important in fantasy football for getting those attacking returns and also of course the clean sheet. We just have a quick look at Digne. He got 9 clean sheets last season. He also got 9 assists. Everton's fixtures are favourable. They have Southampton, Leeds, Brighton, Burnley, Aston Villa, Norwich in their first 6 game weeks, followed by a tough game against Man United in week 7. But once again, up to week 10, then they have West Ham, Watford and Wolves. So Everton's fixtures are very favourable this season, and I expect Digne to be bombing up that left wing, delivering crosses, taking corners, free kicks, and he's selected by 22.7% of teams, so he's also a popular pick. And up next is Luke Shaw. Of course, we've seen Shaw have a great Euros tournament with England. Once again, very attacking for England. Last season from United, he just got 5 assists and 1 goal, but I expect him to be a lot more attacking this season. Like I said, he will be on free kicks, corners, and delivering lots of balls into that box. And their fixtures, their first 4 are Leeds, Southampton, Wolves and Newcastle. So once again, a favourable start for Manchester United, and he's selected by 46% of teams. So nearly half of the teams have Luke Shaw. And up next is Arnold. Of course, an amazing fantasy football asset, but he does come in at a costly price, 7.5 million. He's selected by 27.4% of teams, and that's probably something got to do with his price tag. He's very expensive, but he does return quite a lot. Last season he got 8 assists and 2 goals. He also kept 10 clean sheets, but if we do have a look at the 2 seasons before that, he got 15 assists and 4 goals the season before that, and the season before that in 18-19 he got 13 assists and 1 goal. Of course Van Dijk was playing back then, so Van Dijk will be back this season, which will probably give Arnold that more security in the defence, that he can bomb forward a lot more and get those crosses in. And Liverpool's fixtures are quite favourable to start off with also. In their first 10 game weeks they face Norwich, Burnley, Chelsea, Leeds, Crystal Palace, Brentford, Man City, Watford, Man United and Brighton. So there's only 3 teams with a difficulty rating of 4 in their first 10 game weeks. So their fixtures are quite favourable. So that makes up my defence. I will be playing 3 at the back this season, most likely. Now we'll move on to my midfielders. And once again, it's very attacking if you just look at it. Salah, Rafinha, Foden, Pepe and Greenwood. Now, of course, I do have a few differentials in here. And up first, we'll have a look at Greenwood. He's only selected by 3.9% of teams. Last season, he scored 7 goals and 2 assists. But 6 of those goals and 1 of those assists coming in the final 8 game weeks for Manchester United proves he is carrying form into the start of the new season. And with Marcus Rashford out for 12 weeks, Greenwood is expected to get lots of game time, and their fixtures are quite favourable, as we've just gone through with Luke Shaw. They have Leeds, Southampton, Wolves and Newcastle in their first game weeks, and Greenwood will be targeting those games. He could be quite a good differential this season. And up next I've picked another differential in Pepe. He's only selected by 3.7% of teams. Last season he did get 10 goals and 3 assists, and he played under half the total minutes, so they are quite good returns for him. Now he has seemed to finally break into the Arsenal team. I think he will be nailed on this season. We have seen his ability, his amazing ability and potential, and our fixtures are not too bad. Up first day, Brentford, followed by two tough games against Chelsea and Man City. But after that, they are quite favourable, as we can see. And for just 7.5 million, I am willing to take the risk on Pepe. But like I said, we will keep an eye on pre-season to see how these players are performing and if they are starting in the team. Up next is Phil Foden. Of course, didn't get much minutes for England in the Euros, but we do know his ability. Last season, he just played under half of the total minutes possibly to be played. He got 9 goals and 8 assists. He is a very big attacking threat for Man City, and he should get to see more minutes this season. We will keep an eye on pre-season. Of course, he's 8 million. He's quite cheaper than the likes of Sterling for Man City, so we'll just keep an eye on their teams in pre-season and how they are performing. He's selected by 13.1% of teams. Their fixtures are 50-50. Tottenham, Norwich, Arsenal, Leicester, Southampton, Chelsea, Liverpool, Burnley, Brighton and Crystal Palace. So a few tough games in there, but with Foden's ability, he can rack up those fantasy football points. And the fourth midfielder I've picked is Rafinha for Leeds. Of course, he's selected by 24.4% of teams. He only cost 6.5 million, and he does have quite an attacking threat. He got 6 goals and 10 assists last season. He is on free kicks, some corners we've seen last season, so he's a proven fantasy football asset. And fixtures for Leeds are quite tough, but after week 4 to 10, we see they are nearly all green. And with Leeds, they do score lots of goals, and Rafinha will be in the thick of those. Up next is Salah, and there isn't much explanation needed about Salah. He is a proven fantasy football asset. For 4 seasons in a row now, he's got over 230 fantasy football points, so there's no explanation needed here. And Liverpool's fixtures are quite good. I've already explained with Arnold, and Salah will be my captain for game week 1. We'll just go through captaincies after. He's selected by 49.9% of teams, so half of the teams have selected Salah. And my 2 strikers this season are Calvert-Lewin and Watkins. Of course, Calvert-Lewin last season, he got 16 goals and 6 assists. He's Everton's main goal threat, and we went through Everton's fixtures already with Digne, and Calvert-Lewin will thrive on these fixtures. He will bang in the goals. He's proven. He loves scoring goals, and he will be in my team. He's selected by 29.5% of teams, and a fair price at 8 million. And my final player is Watkins for Aston Villa. Once again, he had a great season last year, got 14 goals and 9 assists. And Aston Villa's first 3 fixtures are favourable. They have Watford, Newcastle and Brentford. After that, there's quite a few tough games. But with Aston Villa signing Buenda, and hopefully they will keep Jack Grealish, they will be feeding the ball through to Watkins, who has the pace to bury those goals and get them FPL points. Now we'll move on to my bench. My sub goalie is Steele. Now I just picked Steele as he is Brighton's second choice goalie. So I have the backup there if Sanchez does get injured. And I just don't see the point of having a rotational goalkeeper that is maybe 5 million. I just prefer to have that extra million to spend on my outfield players and make up a strong squad. My first sub is a striker. It's Tony for Brentford, who's also proved themselves, loves scoring goals. He did score yesterday in a pre-season game for Brentford, so he knows where the goals are. Up next is Lamptey for Brighton, and up first they have Burnley. We've gone through their fixtures already. Lamptey is a very attacking player, loves getting forwards, loves getting balls into the cross. We will keep an eye on him in pre-season to see if he does nail down that spot. And my final defender is Fofana for Leicester. He's 4.5 million. He's nailed on starter. He's selected by 25.8% of teams, one of the most selected defenders in the game. And their fixtures are quite mixed, but he can be rotated into my team, and with only 4.5 million, I will be keeping him. So there you go, guys. That is a full roundup of my first fantasy football draft for the up and coming season. Just for captaincy options in game week 1, it will be Salah. Of course, Liverpool playing Norwich, a newly promoted side. Salah will be my captain in game week 1. Game week 2, I'll probably keep it on Salah, depending on how he did in the first game, of course, avoiding any injuries. Game week 3 is quite tough. Of course, you'd like to have the likes of Harry Kane here, who play a newly promoted side in Watford. But I probably will be taking a risk on captaining Watkins against, well, just against Brentford, a newly promoted side also. So that is a roundup of my fantasy football first draft. Of course, I will be making lots of changes before the start of the season. Sorry. So if you did like this video, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. I'll be back with lots of fantasy football content. Have a great day.